all, how are you? It's Danny. So I came on a couple minutes ago to wish all the kids going back to school good luck. Gosh, right? Like time has flown. And you know what? They are so brave. Oh my God. For any of you that are, I don't even know, like 30 and over, maybe that's right. Like we did not have to deal with the things that they have to deal with. So Eee! But anyway, good luck to them. So I came on to do that and I was gonna get up. I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I received like a direct message to come sit down and talk to you. And I'm like, about what? And what, what are we gonna do? And next thing you know, I get hit with 555. So any of you with the numerology, 555 is like change, go, do it. Also can be chaos too, which is like it's my least favorite number. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know. I start getting kind of nervous, like, I don't know about this. And the phone rings. And I'm like, oh God, I go to the other side of the house and I hear the phone ringing. I'm like, what is this? Right? And then it's just an unknown something spam. And I turn around and then the clock has my birthday on it, right? So I'm like, what is going on? And the reason I'm giving you these details is because once you're establishing a relationship with spirit, with your guides, you're going to have signs, synchronicities, directions, guidance, communication, and it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So I tried to get up a few times. It was like, I don't want to bore them. What do they want, you know? And it was clear, like, no, come here, sit down and talk. And I knew enough to go on the algorithm on the social media. And I was like, okay, well, tell me, give me the topic. And the only thing that was on there was when you wonder when you're wondering what to do or what to say, but you're still guided to do it, like know that there's a place for you and that if you're urged to do it, do it. Something like that. Something like that. So what's the fucking point, right? Spiritual awakening. That I think that that is the point. I went through so much during this spiritual awakening, and that happened in about around 2008, 2009. So, being that the last video I was telling you about the eclipse and all this stuff is like relating back to that time, it makes sense that now here we are. I'm thinking, well, what do I want to go back there for, right? And it's true. That's when I was slammed with my massive awakening. And so what the heck is that? What is a spiritual awakening? What do you mean? What's going on? Well, it's basically when your system comes online and it's kind of like the Matrix, right? When you watch the Matrix, he's like, do you want to see or not see? Basically. And it maybe reminds me more of like Doctor Strange. I think that's right. Where, yeah, you'd have to watch the movie to know. But your senses are heightened, your ability to process information is like you're not quite like a Lucy, if you've seen that movie. Not quite, but you're something. You're something there. So that's small terms for now. And I went through this. I, for years, I had done events. I've offered services. I've done all different things. And then it just got to the point where it was like back to research, back to self-improvement, development, all that stuff. And then I'm like, what? And I don't know what that was. And the newest guidance is, hey, you went through all these absurd situations, and now you live a life that is so extra. I would say extraordinary, but extra for the purpose of being able to relate to others on such a wide spectrum. So the amount of trauma, drama, miracles, simplicity, like all of it, it I went through so much of it, right? And why? Well, for instance, I I know the difference between domestic violence and demonic oppression. Yeah. And I'm sane. You know, I'm not like loco in the cocoa. And I know the difference between mental health and maybe the autism spectrum, you know? So it really does intertwine with our everyday life. Now, sometimes you might have a relationship and issues come up during that. And sometimes they're just, not just, but sometimes they're everyday issues that are revolved around struggle, sacrifice, burden, boredom, whatever it can be. And then sometimes they're connected to past life, karmic debts, things like that. So why do whenever we start talking about this now, this didn't happen before, but now it's like man, I get itchy. So there's a lot. I woke up, I went to a healing, right? And I woke up the next day speaking in tongues. So I actually it was light language, and there's a big difference between tongues and light language. But I woke up and I was like 100 miles per hour speaking in the forgotten languages, right? Like I wasn't possessed, nothing like that. I was actually clear. And I was clear and connected. And this stuff was coming out of me like so fast. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, what the heck do I do? Well, I happen to know a few professionals in the community that use that as a healing modality and, are familiar with that, light language, right? And I was like, oh my God, what the heck is this, right? Well, I ended up looking really deeply into it, and I ended up learning that this is mostly translatable. And once I found that out, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So, how fascinating. How absolutely absurd, but how fascinating and wild. Um, I always tell a simple story of going to the nail salon and they're speaking there and I know I'm not sure of the correct term for it, but it's Chinese, whatever. And I just start relaxing with the flow, like soaking and and all that. And next thing you know, I'm like I lean over and I'm talking, I'm speaking, and the guy is like, he's like, "What'd you say?" He's like, "Danielle, what did you say?" And I was so in the zone. It was like really calming. And come to find out, I was speaking Mandarin, and Mandarin was like a slang, very similar dialect to the village language that they were speaking, right? And yeah, we were able to communicate, we were able to do all that. And same thing with spending time with someone who spoke fluent Urdu, Urdu, Hindi, Tamil, a few others, Sanskrit, a few others. And I was like, yeah, you know how to do this? And yeah, they were like, what? So it was described as like Shakespearean Sanskrit. And apparently a lot of it was used, is used in like private, holy healing ceremonial circles type things. No, not some secret society crazy stuff, but um, maybe by like Sufis, by, I don't know, we'll just leave it at that, right? So that's another part of the spiritual awakening that is like, what the heck? And then to write it, get out of here. So thank gosh, I had a really good friend. I was in a community of friends, right? Where they're like, oh, so you can speak, you can do it. I was known for being able to do that. You can speak, you can connect it to healing, you can write it, and I'm like, and yeah, write it too, write in the whole thing. And it's mind blowing. So I was speaking to people in my immediate circle, right? And even ones who didn't speak it, when they were around me, it was activated in them, and then they would. And then it would be like 100 miles per hour. Like you could imagine your, I don't know, maybe Italian grandmother, something like that. But yeah, so that is one thing. Reading Akashic records, like your records of your soul, your business. Forget about your credit score and your, like psychological reports. This is your Akashic records. This is that. So there's many levels in the awakening, and there's many different positions. Sometimes you're a beacon of light that can walk into any area and transmute, calm, mediate that situation. And that's perfect. You don't have to be cleaning grid lines over in Mount Shasta. You could, but sometimes that's what you're doing. And one of the biggest themes is not giving up, right? So when I just shared that recent story of like, why would you go through hell? Do you live a traumatic lifestyle? What is all this? Well, this is when you're on this path, like me, I know that opportunities are going to come. Like they're just gonna, like life is a one big opportunity. And I don't stay in the same place. I don't do the same thing. I'm constantly evolving and learning, growing, sharing, continuing. So stepping outside of this to live a life of 9 to 5, traditional um, scheduling, basically, traditional conversations, traditional stuff is like suffocating because the world is big. Think of looking at the world through like a pinhole, basically, you know? That's what that is. And then think about looking at like a 90-inch TV, with like, I don't know, live Google Maps or something, whatever. You get my point. The aerial view, you can zoom in, you can zoom back. There's so much. So we're evolving as, I guess, a human species, right? And we're outside of the time of that basic structure, 9 to 5, da, 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 So we're in a time where we're going to be creating. We're going to be making totally brand new things, brand new perspectives, brand new stuff. And this is why many of us have been on this other path to prepare to be here for you, right? So they've been doing this forever. Like you could go back a million something years, and then you could go back a couple thousand, you could go back 100 years, and then you can go into first wave, second wave, third wave, of starseeds, light workers that have been here now. First waivers would be around the ages of 80 now. I'm friends with quite a few of them, and they're they've been holding the space for you guys. So you can read a lot about this, and if you're interested in it, I'm sure that the algorithms will just place in front of you. That's where we are. So we also have a lot to talk about regarding AI. I don't want to blow you out of here now. Like maybe we could take a break and then I'll come back in, a little bit and talk about that. But it's not what you think. And yes, it's going to be everywhere. So what is she talking about now? Well, I'm going to think about one of my favorite people, and he had not just a great smile, but he would actually call me Spooky. So I'm going to think about that for a second, and I want to share that with you. Yeah. So, dun, dun, dun. um, yeah, there's shit, right? There's a lot. And by the way, I think one of the things I should add is that opening your relationship with all of these different things is a really beautiful thing, right? And there's ways to go about it, ways to, like stand firm with some boundaries. You do have to have some boundaries because you don't want to just be like, oh, hey, boom, I watched a binaural beat on YouTube and now my third eye is like cranking. You don't want to do it. You don't want to just invite like, hey, house party. You have to be selective, right, with this, and you have to be cautious. There's a lot to learn. And just for the record, also, when I'm recording this, there are no streaks and slips and weird things. When I post a playback and I see all the like dragging crap, it's definitely irritating, but I've been through quite a few different um, devices, so I don't know. Um, we'll see. But yeah, there's a lot, there's definitely a lot involved. And is it worth it, right? Like I gotta tap into these reels. Like, is it worth it? You know, what's his name? I don't know what his name is, but he's an actor and he's cool. And he starts walking around and then he turns around and he's like, yeah, he's like, if you're strong enough. Well, you're going into awakening, whether you're strong enough or not. You're going to go into one part of it or another, unless you're an NPC, which means you're just a fill-in, not just, yeah, no, just. You're like a fill-in to hold the fabric and the construction of this place. So if I'm speaking to you, you would find yourself interested in books, interested in reading, not understanding it, and still pursuing it. But like, hey, I want that power, but you want the powers, you want the gifts out of your mind because you want to basically gain power over something. You're not coming from your soul, not coming from your heart because you're like, you got like this much in you, which there's a reason for you. There's a reason for you being here. I am surrounded by a, a bunch of people like this. And I mean, I don't know, now I'm older. I'm like my use for them is pretty null. But the rest of you, yeah. There's a lot of good people on this planet, by the way. And there's a lot of fake news. I'm not quoting him and hanging out on his side, but there's a ton of bullshit out there. Like craziness. How do you know what the heck is what? Well, you know what? What I'm going to tell you, I'm able to give you the science-backed resources. And I mean, I guess that means a lot to some of you. I didn't need it, but when I met beautiful friends that are in, the science research field, and they were showing me the evidence and the proof and, all that of ESP, kinesis, whatever, the afterlife, all this different stuff. Um, I felt like this was an excellent tool for someone who really needs that grounding and needs that, like, okay, this is really a bit like out there, makes me feel mentally, insecure. And I would like that science proof. So I don't know if I like went all around and I don't know, zigzags about that, but so that's why I got it. I felt like this is gold. This is really awesome. This is nice. Like, I mean, what it takes to prove the unseen. Thank goodness. To develop all this and to be able to do this is one thing, and then to be able to be on that side where you have to prove it. I rather, thank goodness I'm on this side. Thank goodness. And bless them. So, all right, there's a small start, and there's a lot of power in in faith, and there's a lot. My gosh, there's so much. So the next videos are going to be a lot of them are going to be based on this because I'm getting like nudged, and that's a part of the process as well. When you say, "Hey, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Guide me." Well, then it's like, oh, rearrange everything and sit down, do that. So be careful what you wish for. Anyway, all right, guys. So that's that. I hope there's no zigzaggy, weird stuff happening here. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.